And we are live. Welcome to another episode of the Not Another Yoga Class podcast and LinkedIn live series. Today, I have an amazing guest, my mate, Patricia Poor, sustainable lifestyle and fitness coach. And we're going to be talking about a very interesting subject, which shouldn't be a subject at all, is what we've just discussed. But it is actually something that we probably need to have a conversation about. And that is whether leaders are making female team members body conscious. Hey, Pat.
Hi, hello, hi everyone.
How you doing? Are you good?
Yes, very good. And I'm excited to have this conversation because as you said, it's something that people are like, why do we need to talk about this? But that's exactly why we need to talk about this.
Exactly. Okay, so there's going to be people here, and I'll be honest, if I was watching this episode, probably I'd be one of them. I'd see this title come up and I'd sit here for the first few minutes and I'd be like, but are we? Are we still making female team members body conscious? And so that's the first thing I want to touch on is are we? And if we are, we'll talk about what effect that has.
Yeah, absolutely. So the issue with body image, and I am, as you said, I'm a fitness and lifestyle coach, and I work with women mostly, and we talk a lot about body image and how to improve their body image and their self-talk. And what I always see with my clients is that what comes up is that the self-destructive, nasty thoughts that they have about their own bodies, they are actually coming from external comments that they picked up throughout their lives, right? So from childhood, when you go to like family reunions and your uncle makes a little comment on your puffy cheeks, or when you go to school and the boys are teasing you that like, oh, you have a big butt, and all of these things, they pile up in us. And then obviously all the beauty standards from society, from social media, from fitness magazines of how we should look like, we should have a thigh gap or this little flap here, like next to your bra, like, it's like that it's a thing. And it's like, what? And women are getting all of this information, it builds up in themselves. So, and when they look in the mirror, they're like, I'm fat, I look bad, this is, I'm not pretty. And that all comes from external little pokes that we pick up over the course of our lives, right? And the workplace is not different, right? So it starts in the family, then in school, and then we go into the workplace, and it continues, right? So I also used to work in corporate. I have a background in, like, I had a marketing career. I worked in marketing for 5 years, and I worked in big companies, right? And I have my own stories with this. So if you think about it, okay, so what are these comments that we're making women in the workplace, body conscious with? And my biggest story that really, really shattered me, it was when I was still like, working in marketing, but I started going into fitness and I started going to the gym. And in a coffee break, or in my lunch break, I was telling my colleagues that, like, oh my God, I'm going to the gym, all of that. But obviously that was at the very start of my fitness journey. And so you couldn't really see it in my body yet. And then one lunch break, I remember I was eating a sandwich, like a normal white bread sandwich with like meat in it. I didn't really have I wasn't very like nutrition conscious yet. And I had a VP in the organization come into the kitchen and comment on like, but aren't you like going to the gym? Like, why are you eating that? And, like, also like if you're going to the gym, like it doesn't, you can't see it that much on your body. And I'm like, and I just like didn't know what to say. I was just like so excited about the fact that I was going to the gym. And then when you get like a feedback saying like, you don't look like it, you're like, okay, so and then like that really, really like hit me. I was just like, I'm doing this thing and people are still thinking that I'm fat, obviously, like I went there. And since then, like every time I saw that leader in my organization, even though I wasn't like under him, like he was in a very different part of the company, I didn't want to talk to him. I didn't want to have a, like, I just felt very self-conscious around him. And that meant that every time, I might like go into his area of the office, I just feel like, okay, should I wear like a jacket or a scarf to like, cover my arms, that I was very self-conscious of, like what, like, and all of these like little thoughts that women are carrying in their head about these, from these comments. In the end, like, you start thinking about this instead of your work, right? So you lose self-confidence, you get more self-conscious, you get anxious, and so your productivity goes down in your work, because you're constantly thinking, if I'm sitting, is anyone looking at me, like, you looking at my role as I'm sitting, instead of focusing on my work. And so these are the little comments that don't seem to be like, get over it, right? But you can't just get over it. And these are really, I think, slowing down, like they will have an effect on the productivity of women in the office. And also men. I do not want to, sorry, I just want to say that I do not want to exclude men from this conversation. I'm talking about women because I specifically work with women, and that's my experience in.
I think it would be fair to say, though, that women generally have more of an uphill battle at dealing with comments, opinions about their appearance. Whereas men, I mean, I am a man, and I experience almost nothing, very, very little amount. And so there is, I think it's fair to say there is a bit of a difference between the two. I think women tend to experience, especially throughout their entire lives, right? Like you're saying, more than us.
It's throughout the entire life, and then in the workplace, because how obviously women, when they come into the workplace, years ago, you are like, you have to dress like this, you shouldn't wear, a short sleeve, you should wear like a jacket and like cover yourself, because it's not professional if you don't, like, you can't really be yourself, right? And on top of that, you get these comments. Yeah, it all just builds up, and it can be very, very it just puts you down so much.
See, when we first started talking about this, the first thing that came to my mind as an outcome of this problem is that the individual who is feeling self-conscious is not focusing on their work and not being as productive. Exactly what you already said. What I overlooked was that it would have an effect on some of the relationships within the organization. Like you said, you were actually avoiding who was effectively one of your managers because of one comment that he'd made.
Yeah. And the thing is, this person, he wasn't my direct manager, right? So I worked in marketing, they worked in engineering. So like very far, but I did have to go to like engineering for marketing material and stuff, right? But the thing is, I think to this day does not know the impact that comment had on me, right? And it's very interesting, because once I then went into like started a career in fitness, I was like, I hope that he's seeing this on LinkedIn, It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like how years later, when I'm like, after a while, I let it go, because I had a lot of success in fitness, in running, in bodybuilding, all of that. And I let it go. Like, it was like, it doesn't have an impact on my life. However, like, I did find myself years later thinking about that. Like, I hope that he's seeing this on LinkedIn, that I'm successful in fitness.
Yeah, I get that. But obviously, like, a lot of people don't have the career in fitness that you had, so that they experience something like that, and then that's kind of it. It carries it kind of, it lives with them, and then the next time, I'm guessing it's even worse, and it almost compounds to the point where I'm sure there are a lot of women and men, but mostly women, who are carrying probably something along these lines into the workplace every day.
Everyone is, I can tell you for sure, 100%, because every single women that I have worked with over the years, they are carrying these stories. And I actually have a body image workshop that I put my clients through, where we uncover all of these specific comments that they're carrying. I want them to go deep and uncover that, so that they can, slowly let the power that these comments hold on them, so they can let them go. So what does this mean? That all of these comments, you put it on your female or male colleagues, and then okay, off you go. Like it's your problem now, not mine. And it's just such an inconsiderate thing to do when these are tiny, tiny comments that you could really just keep to yourself. Like there is no need to say these things, literally no need, you know? And that's the sad thing, because then on the other side, you have no idea what kind of an avalanche you started. And then this person needs to seek out therapy or go to, read about body image and work through all of these things. And they end up with me or therapists,
Yeah.
And so really just shut up, like that. It's like such an easy thing to do. And just by not saying that, like, one sentence like that can make a huge difference in someone else's life.
Playing devil's advocate here,
Yeah.
because I know what the response is going to be from some people. For me, I totally agree with you. Just keep questions related to, working out, body shape, weight loss, anything. Just don't go there. There are going to be people, though, that would watch this, some leaders, and they would say, oh, so now I can't say anything. Now I can't congratulate someone for exercising. Now I can't, talk about diet with them. That's going to be their response. So what would you say to those people?
No, absolutely you can. If you see someone going to the gym and having that routine, or maybe even arriving 10 minutes later than usual because they had to like wash their hair after the gym, I would actually, I did get a lot of comments when I had that, saying like, oh my god, it's so cool that you're going to the gym. But they don't, like, that's amazing, like, positive reinforcement is actually helpful. But those people didn't comment on my body, they commented on my effort, of
Okay.
like trying to do something for my health. And also, like, talking about nutrition or diet or different approaches, that is also a very touchy subject, because everyone informs themselves from different sources. So people think, if you're not informed, I think giving unsolicited advice to anyone is unsolicited. It's literally in the definition. So if someone asks or is interested in your opinion, of course, have a conversation, but you do not need to include someone's body image or body type or how they look like. And right now we're talking about body size and shape, but I also remember comments, just like really tiny comments that really, really sting. Stuff like, I didn't have makeup on Monday, or I didn't have that much makeup on. I walk in and one of the guys was like, oh, you look really tired today. And I'm like, you know what? No, I just don't have makeup on, and like,
Yeah.
it's just like, you don't need to say, like, again, you look really tired today is a negative comment. Just keep the negative comments to you, unless someone says, oh my god, I couldn't sleep tonight because of this and this, and then you start that conversation, but you still don't say like, oh yeah, you actually look tired, because that makes people self-conscious about how they look today. And then they're supposed to go into a meeting or a client meeting, and they're like, oh my god, I look so horrible. And how can they then bring their best work and show up for their clients or for shareholder meetings, whatever it might be, thinking I look shit today?
Yeah.
Because someone confirmed from the outside. I think it's, if you think just a little bit, just before you want to say something to someone about how they look like, just stop. Say it in your head and think about how it will come out and how it might land on the other side. Because communication, and I'm sure that you have had conversations on this podcast about this, but communication is not about just what you say, but you need to have the emotional intelligence to understand how it might land on the other side. And that would be the thing that I would say. Just
I think it's great advice. I really do. And I think you've outlaid this very articulately. And sometimes we do need to just take an extra second and think about it. I'm sure that I've said to some female in my space at some point, "You look tired," in a way that was like, "We're close, so I can say these things," and they almost certainly responded internally the way you've said. So, awareness first, and then just having an extra a little bit of time to think about what's about to come out your mouth. Pat, can you tell us a little bit about you, what you do, and how you help?
Yeah, absolutely. So we mentioned this a little bit. I am a sustainable fitness and lifestyle coach, which means that I coach perfectionist and type A overachiever women to looking hot and confident and feeling confident, but in a sustainable way. So without fad diets and extreme dieting, extreme training and cardio. That's basically what I do. And I have a lot of different ways of working with me. Currently, our biggest thing is I'm actually organizing with another coach colleague of mine a retreat, an in-person retreat in Spain, a full week, 12 women together doing fitness and balance and eating and enjoying life at a pool and everything. So that's the biggest thing we're very excited about. But otherwise, you can also just check out my LinkedIn page and you will see how else you can work with me on a daily basis if that's interesting for you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Pat. This episode was brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I think it's a super important conversation to have.